We're gonna try out a new color corrector today. I noticed that Clinique came out with the Even Better All Over Primer and Color Corrector. I got mine at Ulta. I did a Clinique video about a month or two ago and actually mentioned in that video that I didn't think they made a color corrector. If they did, I wasn't able to find it, and then I saw a few weeks ago that they came out with this. So we're gonna try it today. This one retails for $29. You get 0.2 ounces of product, and it only comes in 2 shades, which is kind of not the best in my opinion, but we're gonna try it. So this is what it looks like. It's in the exact same packaging as the Even Better concealer from Clinique, which I do have. I like that one. I don't love my shade that I have, so I don't use it a ton, but I do like the formula. So this one is the shade Peach, and then I believe there's one more that's Deep Peach if you have a darker or a deeper skin tone. So it has the doe foot applicator, and I'll do a swatch for you. So it looks like a really good peachy color. I actually got mine in store at Ulta. I had planned to order this, but I kind of wanted to see it in person because I'm very particular about the shade of corrector for my under eyes. I need something that isn't too orangey. It can be a tiny bit on the orange side, but it needs to be pretty peachy, I would say. So more pink and orange, kind of in between the two, and this one looks like the color will be good. So I'm excited to try this, but I thought that we could compare it to my most recent color corrector that I've been talking about a lot and I really like, so I figured we could do like a side-by-side comparison. So the one I've been loving is the EXA High Fidelity Corrector. You've probably heard me talk about this a few times at this point if you are not new to my channel. This one is really, really good. It also has a doe foot applicator, and I figured I would swatch them for you just so you can see. Okay, so they're not identical, but they are definitely pretty similar. So the top one is the EXA and the bottom one is the Clinique. So I would say the Clinique formula feels a little bit thinner than the EXA, and I would say, I was gonna say the Clinique one looks a little bit orangier, maybe not quite as peach as the EXA, but honestly they look pretty similar. So I'll be very curious to see how they compare on my eyes. One more thing I did want to note as a comparison detail is the EXA is actually $27 and you get 0.25 ounces of product in here. So the Clinique one is $2 more. So the Clinique one is $29, you get 0.2 ounces in here. The EXA is $27 and you get 0.25 fluid ounces. So not a huge difference, but I did just want to point that out as well. I did prep under my eyes like always with an eye cream. I used the Ole Henriksen Banana Bright today about 30-ish minutes ago before I go in with the color corrector. So I figured we'll do Clinique first, and we can do maybe my right eye with Clinique, and we'll do EXA on my left eye. The Clinique does also come with this little sponge tip on the end that I guess you can use to tap it in if you want. I probably will not use this. I typically use a brush for color corrector, but I did want to point it out just in case you were wondering. So we're gonna go in with the Clinique on this eye. So I'm gonna start with just a little bit. I have some darkness kind of in my inner corner, and then most of it is right here. Sometimes I do put corrector on my outer corner, but I'm just gonna kind of start on the inner corner and see how far it spreads. I'm gonna use this Smashbox blurring concealer brush to tap this in. I like to use a brush instead of a sponge, especially for color corrector, just so you can be really precise and you don't pick up too much of your product, because then you just end up having to apply more and more, and if you put concealer on top, it can get kind of cakey looking. So it did spread really easily across my eyes, so I really didn't need to put any excess product out here, which is nice. The consistency, I definitely do think, as you'll see when I put EXA on this side, EXA is just a bit thicker. I kind of could tell that just from the swatches, but I do think the peach color is really good for me so far. My discoloration under my eyes is more blue purple toned, so peach colors tend to work pretty well for me. I did look up and see that the darker shade in the Clinique is called Apricot, if you were curious, but so far this looks pretty good. It's not settling weird, it's not creasing weird. It looks pretty, or very smooth under my eyes. I would say it's more of like a natural finish. Definitely looks like it has dried down too, which is really nice. So far so good. I'm gonna go ahead and do my left eye with EXA. All right, so here's the two side by side. We have Clinique on this side and the EXA on this side. I think they look pretty similar. I do think the Clinique maybe gives just a bit less coverage than the EXA one, but the overall look of them is very similar. I'm assuming the EXA gives just a little more coverage because it is a little bit thicker in consistency, but honestly, they both look pretty good on their own. I'll be curious to see how concealer lays over the top of this. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a little bit of a tinted moisturizer, and then I'll come back and we'll apply the same concealer over both of them and see what we think. Actually, before I put anything else on my face, I think I'm gonna see if this Clinique corrector is buildable at all. I don't typically build up my corrector because I do typically go on with concealer over top, but I thought we could just apply a tiny bit more of the Clinique and just see if we see any difference. So I'm gonna take just a little bit more, and I'm gonna use the same brush and just kind of tap it in. I kind of focused it right here where I have the most darkness. That would be where I would want to build up coverage if I did. Okay, I actually do think that built up the coverage a little bit. I don't know if you can tell on camera, but I do like, if a corrector is versatile like that, I like to be able to apply more if I want to. So that is nice. I do think this eye now looks maybe a little more corrected than the EXA, but again, they both look pretty good. I just feel like that second layer of Clinique really did make a difference. So I figured we'll do just a little bit more of the EXA as well and see what we think of that. And same thing, we'll just tap it in. So there is the EXA with just a little bit more, and then this is the Clinique with just a bit more. I do still think the Clinique side has just a little more coverage, I feel like, than the EXA side. But again, they're very similar. I kind of want to see how they are with concealer over the top. So now I'm going to put on a little bit of a tinted moisturizer. I'll be back and we will add a little concealer. For concealer, I'm going to use the NYX Bear With Me Serum Concealer. I'm going to go with this one since we're using a new corrector. I want to use a concealer that I know that I love, and this is one of my absolute favorites of all the concealers that I have. I wear the shade Vanilla, and this concealer is so nice. It spreads very easily. It's a very thin formula, but you can also kind of build it up if you want. Okay, I'm gonna tap this in with my favorite concealer brush, which is the Sigma F03. So I'm blending in the Clinique side first. And now I'm blending in the EXA side. All right, so here are my under eyes blended out with the same NYX concealer. So this is the Clinique side and this is the EXA side. Honestly, they look pretty similar. You'll have to let me know what you think in the comments, but so far, even the finish of them looked similar. Obviously it does now because I put the same concealer on the top, but even beforehand, I feel like the finish was very natural, kind of not dewy, but a little bit radiant, like a natural radiant finish. But I feel like under my eyes, both eyes look pretty good. So I'm thinking what I'm gonna do is finish the rest of my makeup. I'm not gonna powder under my eyes or anything. And then I'll show you at the end after I've done all my makeup and we'll look under my eyes and see what we think. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that and then I will be back. Finished my makeup and I kind of wanted to close out the video and kind of give you my thoughts. So I did powder the rest of my face, but I did not powder under my eyes. So this is what it looks like. So again, we have Clinique on this side and we have EXA on this side. Honestly, you guys, they don't look that different from each other. I mean, I do think when I look up really, really close, like I don't think the camera will pick this up, but the Clinique side definitely has like a small little bit of settling like right here in the inner corner. And again, it could be the concealer and not the corrector, but I do feel like the EXA side is laying just a little bit better under my eyes, but not by much. And honestly, the coverage doesn't look that different right now. This is Clinique, this is EXA. So as of right now, I would say I would recommend both of these if the colors work for you. Typically with color corrector, it's more about the actual shade that you pick as opposed to the product itself. Not that the product is not important, the formula is important, but the most important thing is the color to get the correction that you're looking for. Otherwise, if you use a color that's not right for you, you're not going to get the effect most likely that you're looking for. So color is going to be the most important thing with anything color correction, especially under the eyes. So for me, that's typically, like I said in the beginning, more of a true peachy tone. It can't have too much orange in it. Typically, the deeper your skin tone is, the more orange you're gonna need under the eyes, just from what I've learned about color correction, but it is a lot of trial and error. But one of my favorite things to do is try out new color correctors and share them with you. I am gonna be doing a full guide to color correctors for under eye circles. I've been talking about that for quite a while now, and I'm still working on it. It will be coming soon once I get everything together, but that's going to be it for this video. I guess I would say maybe if you had to pick one or the other, go for the EXA because it's a little bit cheaper and you do get a little more product in here. But I don't think you will be disappointed with the Clinique Corrector as well. I will say if you have severe darkness, like very, very dark under eyes, I would not recommend a liquid color corrector like this. I would recommend a pot corrector that's more of a cream consistency. Those typically give a fuller coverage. My two favorites are the Bobbi Brown corrector and the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Vanish corrector. But if you're struggling with darkness, kind of similar to mine, more of a blue purpley tone under the eyes, maybe it's shadows, maybe it's a vein or something like that, these colors might work for you if you're close to my skin tone. So I hope this was helpful. Let me know in the comments if you've tried the Clinique color corrector. I haven't heard anyone talk about this. I haven't seen any videos on it either. So let me know your thoughts. I know a few of you did buy the EXA color corrector and love it. I love this one as well, but I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to give the video a thumbs up. I hope you'll subscribe if you are new and follow me over on Instagram at simply.blair and TikTok simply.blair1. And I will see you next time. Remember, simply be you. Bye.